is Melissa McCack, and I'm here with my brother, Justin McCack.
Hey, everybody.
This is Room 51, where we talk all things board gaming, and we are doing our top 51 games of all time. We are down to, or I guess up to...
whichever way you want to do it.
Whatever way you want to say it. Our top 10 games of all time.
Yes.
Here we go. Justin, what is your number 10?
So, my number 10, we desperately need expansions for.
Okay.
And it is one of my favorite deck building games, but I don't love it because of its deck building mechanism. I love it because of its theme and how well it does that theme. I'm talking about Baseball Highlights 2045. I love baseball. I love games based around baseball. And as a board game, it just did a fantastic job of bringing baseball to the tabletop arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I like that one. Didn't make my list. But
yeah,
if we had
I'm
expansions,
surprised.
it might.
Yeah, we desperately need expansions,
Yeah.
or we'll go lower on the list for sure. I really do love this game, though.
All right, my number 10 fell slightly. It used to be my top 5 games of all time for the past 2 or 3 years, but it is my number 10, Battlestar Galactica, the board game by Corey Konitska. I think that's how you pronounce it. Their name. And yeah, this one, we had gotten this game way before we got into the hobby.
Yeah.
And so this was our introduction into trader games.
Right.
Which was crazy to us. And I guess semi-co-op?
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a semi-co-op game, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But,
yeah.
So it's got cooperative flavor, but with a trader.
Right.
Which a lot of trader games have. But this Battlestar Galactica at the time was my favorite show of all time, and it was my favorite show of all time for a very long time, up until a very recent show came out called She-Ra, Princesses of Power. It's on Netflix. Check it out. But yes, this game is fantastic. It is Battlestar Galactica in a box, I would say. The theme really comes through. I know people are... It's way out of print. Which is so devastating. I never got any of the expansions. I want this game to come back so desperately. I know people are talking about maybe it could come back with a different theme. No, it's got to be BSG. I don't care. And just spruce up the rules.
It is coming back. You didn't hear?
The board game?
They're coming back with Battlestar Galactica, but it's not the board game that we know and love. They're coming back, and I think it's pretty much a reskin of Cthulhu Death May Die.
No.
I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% if it's that it's some Cthulhu game, and I think it's Cthulhu Death May Die. I don't know if it's a perfect reskin, but yeah, they're doing that with the IP apparently right now.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I want. I want this game reprinted, just spruce up the rule books, streamline it, and add in the best of all the 3 expansions or 4 expansions, and put it in that box. That's what I want. I don't want Cthulhu Death May Die.
No.
Okay?
Uninterested.
I want this game.
Alright.
My number 10, Battlestar Galactica, the board game.
So, my number 9 is one you mentioned earlier. It is a fantastic 1 versus all game, and I do really enjoy 1v all. I also love hidden movement, and I'm actually talking about Not Alone.
Wow, okay.
Yes. Not Alone is...
number 10.
Yeah, it's actually my number 9. That's
number 9, crazy.
But, so Not Alone, like you mentioned before, in an earlier video, somebody's playing as an alien trying to figure out where other people are going before, and they have to try to assimilate them before, the rescue ship comes. It creates a ton of intense moments, and it's just a ton of fun being the alien and trying to figure out, well, I guess you're not really the alien, the other people are the aliens.
Yeah, I guess so, that's
now
true.
that I think about it.
No.
You're called the monster. But so being the monster is a ton of fun trying to think okay, where do they think I won't hunt? Where do they think I don't think they would have placed it?
Yeah, right. There's a lot of double thinking in it.
Yeah,
it's
there's
really
so
cool.
much of that. And absolutely love it.
I feel like Room 51 champions this game.
Yeah, this is exactly. It's a game that goes over so well with our group. It's a huge game for Room 51 for sure. Truthfully, it's a game that I want to play 2-player, and it's probably something we could play 2-player on stream.
I would love to do that. I've played it at 2-player, and I liked it.
I never have.
I liked it even at 2.
Yeah, so that's my number 9. Not Alone.
My number 9 is another deck-building, cooperative-style game with superheroes. It is Marvel Legendary. It's got everything I love in it. We have the what's it called? The Dark City expansion,
Right.
and a couple of other expansions that I've really liked. I've liked all of them, and it just adds more and more stuff. I thought a fish jumped
so
out
too.
of the
What
aquarium.
just happened?
But yeah, so it has the deck building, and you're trying to go up against a villain with a particular scheme. There's a lot of variability because you could play with. There's so many different heroes in the box. Even just the base game, and then the base game alone has like, I don't know, 20 different heroes and like 5 or 4 different villains, but then like 10 different schemes and everything. Variability up the wazoo, which I love. And it's just a good time. I love it. It doesn't take all that long. I've played it at all player counts. I've liked it at all player counts. I'd probably prefer it at around 3 is probably the best, or 2 even. But yeah, that's my number 9, Marvel Legendary.
Yeah, there's a lot of content in that game. It's a cool one. But alright, so my number 8 is one that you mentioned much earlier in a video. I think it was only in your 30s or possibly 40s. It's a really cool 4X game called Heroes of Air, Land, and Sea. That one is just a ton of fun for me. I love how much I forget if they're called like factions or races or whatever, there's so much that faction or race has available to them that in a single playthrough, you're not going to get through everything that you could have done with that one. It will take you multiple playthroughs. It takes about 2 hours if everybody there knows the game. There's plenty of analysis paralysis that can occur in this one.
Because you could go so many different routes.
It's so much. You're always so close to each other, no matter how far apart you are.
You're right there.
The components of it really add to the game as well. I absolutely enjoy this game every single time it hits the table. Heroes of Air, Land, and Sea.
Yeah, that was my number 45. I really want to play it again or some more. I think it would go up my list.
Right.
My number 8 is funny because it plays best at 8, and I probably won't play it with any other player count. It is Captain Sonar.
Yes.
This is a fantastic game. The theme comes through where you are playing as you're in submarines. It's Battleship.
Battleship, yeah.
But like
RTS.
RTS, and like to the umpteenth level. It's like you want somebody who's played Battleship before and they're really looking to get into the hobby. Play Captain Sonar with them, because this will blow their mind.
Completely.
It blew mine, and I was already in the hobby. It is awesome. You really feel like I'm the captain, or I'm the engineer, or whatever. You know, the communication for your team is what gets you to win.
Yeah, it's massive.
It is, and you could unlock super special abilities where like you could throw missiles out, you could put down mines and things like that.
Yeah.
You could go sonar, silent, whatever.
Right.
It is just really cool. So that's my number 8, Captain Sonar.
Very cool. No, that's a fantastic game. So my number 7 is one that I was saying I really hope it's on your list, and it was. I'm talking about Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. It's really one of my favorite social deduction games. There's so much going on that everybody's trying to figure out, like, okay, this one person is completely silent. They know who the murderer is. They know the 2 clues that everybody needs to figure out. And now they're giving us clues as to, okay, so, what weather was it? Oh, it was rainy. Okay, well, this person has an umbrella. This person has a raincoat. Well, now, wait a second, guys. There was a puddle of water right here on this one. Like, all that kind of stuff. Trying to figure it out, get to where, like, okay, this is happening, this is happening, wait, it's you, no, it's you, all that kind of stuff. And then there's these different roles, so maybe there's a witness, and they know that it's one of these 2 people, or all that kind of stuff. I absolutely love this game.
Yeah.
I mean, every time it hits the table, it's just pretty much a guaranteed fun time.
It really is, yeah. And it's one of those trader games where it's like, you can know who the trader is, but you could still lose.
Yes.
Because you have to figure out what cards.
Yeah,
there's
if you
8
can't
figure that out, you're done.
Yeah, there's 8 cards, and you have to figure out which 2 it was. Yeah.
That one's a cool one. I really
love
like that one. My number 7 is a real-time strategy game. Another one of those. I really like those. But this is a tile-laying game, and it's probably my favorite tile laying game, if you'll consider it that. I think it is. But it's called Galaxy Trucker. Made by the same designer of like Codenames and like other things. But anyway, Galaxy Trucker is a wacky, fun time. You're trying to build up your ship by just like flipping over things and like just creating shields and missiles and like putting aliens there and whatever to like beef up some stuff. And then you send your ship out to watch it go explode in your face. And if you're not into that, don't play this game, because it is mean. The game is mean to you. Other players could also be mean to you, mostly because they're just trying to do what's best for them.
Right.
But that's about it. But I love this game. I love, sci-fi space sort of thing. And it's just a fun time. So that's my number 7, Galaxy Trucker.
The Galaxy Trucker is an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Well, my number 6, actually, I'm now realizing I don't think Galaxy Trucker hit my list.
Are you kidding me?
And I no longer am a fan of how I did my list.
Okay,
because I think the way I did my list is the reason it slipped my mind. So I'm a bit upset about that, because I think it would have definitely hit. No, I don't think it 100% would have hit my top 51. I don't want to speculate where it would have been, but it's a great game, and I'm sure you will see it on my next one, because we still haven't even played the expansion yet.
No, we haven't, and you messed up dearly.
Oh, for not, yes. I was going to say, wait, but yes, I absolutely did. But my number 6 is also a real-time strategy game that you just spoke about recently, and it is Captain Sonar.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Captain Sonar is just such a great team versus team game.
Mm-hmm.
The intensity of it. And I think that is a turn-off for some people. If you get, like, too anxious with games that are, like, really happening too fast kind of thing, this might not be the game for you. Totally understand that. If you are into games that in like really, oh man, what is happening? We gotta do this, and this. Oh geez, are we gonna win? Are we gonna lose? What's gonna happen? This is the game for you. Like this, it's a phenomenal game. Really enjoy Captain Sonar. Love it when you can get those 8 players together. I think you can play it at 6. It is playable at 6, 100%. I wouldn't go below that.
No.
But totally down to play the game at 6 or 8.
Yeah. But mostly 8.
Yeah, I would definitely prefer 8 with Captain Sonar.
My number 6 is a cooperative survival style game that does not hit the table nearly enough, and my group sucks for it. And it is Robinson Crusoe 2nd Edition. It is a phenomenal game. I actually just backed the Kickstarter or whatever it was, the Game Found or whatever it's called now.
Okay.
For the new version of this game, and it's gonna add. It's even gonna add like a tutorial, which I think this game desperately needs because the rules are overwrought. But yeah, you are going around. You're trying to survive on this island. There's like 10 different scenarios or 12 that come in the base box. And they all have different objectives. Like the first one is to build a fire, and exactly. You would be surprised how hard it is to build a fire.
Incredibly difficult.
Oh my gosh! And the events that come out, the weather is against you. You're trying to build up your tent and everything, and get food and whatnot. And it is just so much fun. I don't know why this one doesn't like it as much as I thought he would have liked it.
I think it's a good game, but
it's great. Number 6, great.
Yeah, that's definitely too high for me. I think it is a good game, and I think there are people out there that would absolutely love it. Me personally, I can't see it ever cracking my top 10. Might eventually crack my top 51
We're gonna have to
if
play
I played
again.
it more. We'll see.
It
My number 5 dropped on this list, and I honestly thought it would stay in the top 3 for some time, but some other games moved in. This number 5 is Twilight Struggle. Yeah, my number 5 is Twilight Struggle. I absolutely adore this game. It is Cold War in a box. Plays in about 3 hours. It is only a 2-player game. And that's probably why it's my number 5, by the way. Yeah. It's to get one other person, so it has to be specifically one other person to play this long game with you. It's kind of hard to get that at the table. There is a lot going on, so if they don't really know Twilight Struggle, you can spend a decent amount of time trying to teach them everything. And if you don't teach them everything, you're going to have to explain a lot during the game. And especially if they're not like gamers, they're going to have a lot of questions while reading those cards. But
I did make a teach the teach on this one.
Yes, you did make the teach the teach, and really the game is not. I'm making it sound like it's super harder. It's not that bad. It's just these are reasons why it's harder to hit the table and why it dropped to my number 5. But I really do love this game. I'm very sad. I'm saddened to see how much people don't really talk about it, and I feel like people are talking more about games they play instead of it, and I think that's ludicrous. This is a phenomenal game. I keep using that word phenomenal, but it is. It's a really good game that I just don't think there's anything truly like it. But yeah, so that is my number 5, Twilight Struggle.
Alright, good picks. My number 5 is a grandiose 4X style game. I thought we were going to have a direct crossover, actually. And it is Twilight Imperium 4th Edition by Fantasy Flight Games. Oh my gosh, this is the game of dreams. This is how we have always described Twilight Imperium. Before we got into the hobby, this would have been the game that we thought, whoa. Like, games like that exist.
Yeah.
I mean, there is technology in this game that you build. You are your own alien race, and you're vying for control, and there's different objectives, and ultimately, you're just trying to get to 10 points first. That's it.
Yeah.
But the game takes a very long time. But for as long as it takes, and for as many games as we have, we've managed to play this game at least once a year.
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
And that's because I think we've played it 4 or 5 times.
Something
now.
like that. And
it's impressive.
We just got the expansion. I cannot wait to play with it. The expansion seems awesome.
Right.
But yeah, this I'm sure is higher on this one's list, and so you'll hear more about it. But that is my number 5, TI4.
That is a good pick.
I know.
Well, my number 4. This one surprised me how high I decided to put it, especially the fact that I decided to put it above Twilight Struggle, but I do really freaking love this game. And I'm talking about Fury of Dracula.
Wow. Okay.
I absolutely love this game. The intensity of playing as Dracula is what really brought this up to number 4. I mean, trying to figure out where you're trying to hide, escaping and weaving through these 4 hunters, and then as Dracula, I feel like you have to decide when you're going into combat. That's like the key. You gotta make sure you're the one that decides you're going into combat. You know what's happening. But it really is just a great game. Super intense. I love hidden movement. Hidden movement is one of my favorite mechanisms. That, when we first played Scotland Yard, blew my mind. When we played Not Alone for the first time, blew my mind. I love hidden movement. Yeah. And yeah, so Fury of Dracula is my number 4. And it's kind of interesting. It's one that is a little harder because it is a longer time. You do need to set it. It's not TI4 length, but that's close.
It's pretty close.
It's not that far off.
I will say that there are moments, and this is why it's not as high on my list, where for the investigators, it kind of feels like you're doing nothing. This is not my number 4 because of the investigator role. Yeah, I would actually like to play. This kid has always taken the Dracula role. I want to play the Dracula role sometimes too. But the investigators are fun to play too.
If you're playing it well. Yeah, of course. I do want to play as the investigators again, but I just love being the one in a 1v all. So you will have to fight me for it.
My number 4 is another cooperative style survival game. But it adds in a whole lot of exploration, and it really goes into, the mysteriousness of where you are. And I'm talking about 7th Continent.
Whoa, this is high.
I love this game. Yeah. This game, so this is one of those games that's super freeform. You can kind of do what you want, go where you want to go and everything. And I still haven't beaten any of the curses. I've tried 4 different times, have died every time. I actually just went with my fiance and our sister Eileen.
Right.
We just died.
Nice.
Done.
Perfect.
So that is one of the things about the game. When you die, you start over.
You're done.
You're done. You're done, kid. And so, but yeah, you're going around trying to figure out how to lift this curse, but you have to survive. So you need food for that energy. You need to build camp. You need to figure out what the heck is going on. You're getting clues, and you're like, where am I even going? I'm lost, and you could draw out the map. This game is amazing, and it's one of those games where it's you stop when you want to.
Yeah.
And there was a time where I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to play this for like an hour and then I'll be done. All of a sudden, it was 6 hours later and I was playing this game. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to like eat.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So anyway, my number 4, Seventh Continent.
Very cool. Yeah, that's one I gotta play then. Do you think Seventh Citadel is going to overtake Seventh Continent? Prediction?
I don't know. I really like that fantasy RPG thing and theme, but we'll have to see. I backed that one, so I'm very excited for it.
Alright, so my number 3 is a one that was just mentioned. Absolute love. It was a previous number 1, and I wasn't sure if games would overtake it, and then 2 games did.
Wow.
I'm talking about Twilight Imperium 4th Edition.
Wow.
Like you said, it's kind of the game... It's like the pinnacle of what board gaming can be in like our heads before board gaming. Before getting into board gaming, that's what TI4 was like. The thought, like, oh my goodness, imagine a game like that. And it's a great game. It doesn't. Every time we've played it, it's just been an absolute thrill.
Yeah,
like,
it's an epic.
Exactly. It always the stories that emerge from that game. It's incredible. It's something that I don't know if there is, again, a game I can compare this to that really does it well. One thing I will say, a game that didn't hit the list because just played it recently, Dune Imperium. This was something I was talking about with you, how in Dune Imperium, this is the first time where I felt the intensity of the scoring in Dune Imperium matched the intensity of the score in Twilight Imperium 4. But at the same time, I'm not trying to say like, oh, Dune Imperium killed TI4 for me. I'm not saying
different
that.
Games.
They're so different. And that's the thing. TI4, for being this 6-hour, 8-hour-long game, it doesn't have me sitting there like, when is this going to end? It has me biting my nails towards the end. Like, it really is. It's a great game. It's going to be on the list for some time.
Yeah.
Especially with the expansion, who knows what's going to happen when we start playing that.
Shoot it back up.
Yeah, exactly.
But number 3 for you, okay, cool. So my number 3 is a game that I've only ever played solo and probably only ever will play solo. And it has pretty much everything I love, right? It's got the deck building, it's got adventuring, it's got story. I mean, it doesn't really have story, but like in your head, there's story. And I'm talking about Mage Knight Ultimate Edition. So it came with all the expansions and all the stuff,
goodies.
right? All the goodies from WizKids, I believe. And it's amazing. Like, there's tons of scenarios that you could play where you're trying to get a certain objective. And I've only played one of the scenarios. I play that over and over again because I want to get better at the game. And there's still a lot to offer, even in just that one scenario, because of how much replayability there is in there. So, I love it for all those things where I could gain spells, I could burn down monasteries, I could pillage the village, and I could not do those things and actually be nice and like recruit people from there and stuff, right? Like, and build my force and then go up against the cities and take them down. So that is my number 3 game of all time, Mage Knight.
Very cool. Okay,
Ultimate Edition.
I figured it would be on your list. Had no clue how to gauge how I would be since you do only play it solo. Have you realized what my number 2 is? Do you have any ideas on what my number 2 is?
I mean, your number 2?
My number 2 and 1, I guess.
God.
There's 2 games that I haven't mentioned yet that I feel like you should totally be expecting.
Well, Scythe you haven't mentioned yet.
Okay, so I haven't mentioned Scythe, so that's one of your guesses.
And did you mention War of the Ring yet?
So my number 2 game of all time is Lord of the Rings in a Box. I'm talking about War of the Ring. Yeah. So War of the Ring, you actually said you felt like we didn't play it enough. We played that 3 weeks in a row.
I know.
You know, that's impressive for a game of that scale.
No, I know. I mean, I want to play it more to see where it goes for me.
I also want to play it more because I'm curious. Right now, it's at my number 2 because I'm so hyped on it.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a fun game. It's Lord of the Rings in a box. It's extremely intense, and I love the asymmetry of it being the shadow player, I'm trying to make sure that I can essentially conquer enough before you bring the ring, because it won't matter by then for you, and you're trying to just hold out and get yourself over to there. I absolutely love that feeling of how different we both have to play.
Yes.
It's really cool. There's so many unexpectedness so much unexpectedness comes up during the game. All three of those playthroughs felt very different from each other.
Yeah, they have.
And that's a reason why I do want to play more, to see how much does that hold up.
Yeah. And I feel that we keep getting better.
I agree
Every
with
game,
that.
like, I felt like both of us got better at it.
Each of us brought in, like, our A-game each time, and our A-game kept going higher and higher.
Yeah.
Very cool. I really loved War of the Ring. This is a game that could totally take my number one eventually. If, like, depending on the year, it could take my number one spot. It is so good.
All right. Well, my number 2, I thought might take my number one spot, but it just doesn't hit the table enough. And there's some issues with it, but for the most part, obviously, I love it. It's my number 2 game.
Right.
And it is the ultimate sandbox game, or sandbox board game, and it is Xia, Legends of the Drift System. Okay. There is no other board game, to my knowledge, that makes it feel like a sandbox the way Xia does.
Yeah.
Xia makes me feel like a kid again, playing with spaceships and flying around.
Yeah.
And, being whoever I want to be. And yeah, I don't win very often. Or ever. But it doesn't matter. I made a story for myself. Like, I was that tradesperson who was just doing their thing. And you know what? I decided, screw it all. I'm going to be a pirate and shoot things. And then I got shot at and flew into the sun. And it was great. So that is my number 2. Xia, Legends of the Drift System. It creates stories, baby.
It does. Now, that's a really good one. I knew it would be very high on your list. That's one that I think can keep moving up on my list as well. It's a good one.
I should mention this is specifically with the expansion Embers of the Drift System.
Right.
Not without it. With it.
That made sense. Yeah, it's one where I think if I play it more, it's just going to keep going up. It's a really good game. It's a lot of fun. And that's one that I think does not get enough love. But I could also see it being that it's an intimidating game to bring to the table.
It is intimidating.
It is.
But I created great player aids.
But my number 1 game of all time, in terms of this list.
Wow, so it actually happened.
It did happen. I have a strong feeling the digital edition helped a lot. But Scythe from Stonemaier Games is just so freaking good. That game is so smooth. The thinkiness that goes on, the suspense that builds, the uncertainty on if you even have the win while you're finishing the game. The uncertainty of when somebody else is finishing the game, like, oh, do they have the win though? Maybe I got this. The whole, are they going to go into combat with it? No, they wouldn't do that. I have 3 farmers. Oh my god, they just went into combat. All of it is like, I love it, and truthfully to me, and this might be a turnoff for some people, I like to compare it to chess a bit. The way I think about chess while playing chess, that really comes out while I'm playing Scythe. The whole thought process on trying to think multiple turns ahead and trying to plan things out and trying to think of, this is where I want to be, how can I get there, and figuring out, okay, this is what I can focus on. I absolutely love Scythe. It wasn't even in your top 10, right?
No.
Good lord. That's crazy to me.
But it might.
It will.
It was my number 35.
I'm predicting after Rise of Fenris,
I think it'll
be in
go
the top
up.
10.
I think it will. It was my number 10 last year, so it fell a little bit.
We also have the upgraded bits for resources.
Yeah, that I was doing.
Really nice. So if you really love Scythe and you don't have those,
I want to get the
totally
upgraded
recommend.
Coins. Which I thought I had, but apparently I don't.
had them too. I thought we bought.
Understand.
What coins did we buy for you?
I don't know.
We bought you coins.
My number 1, which I'm sure is a shock to Justin.
I know this one.
It did not change. I thought it might, but it did not. And now this is
a
a sandbox-ish game by Uwe Rosenberg, much better than Steffenfeld, and that is Caverna. The cave farmers, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So Caverna is this didn't even make your top 51. You hate this game.
I'm not a big fan.
And I don't know why, but it's worker placement. I love worker placement. And you're playing as like this dwarven family, I guess, and you could build up your cave system, you can make your farm, you could go after sheep if you want to, and really go for that, or maybe you're really feeling like pigs today, or whatever, or what is it, boar? I don't know.
I think they have boar, yeah.
They have boar. So you grab the boar and everything, and you could go that way and do those things, or get rubies. You could create warriors out of your dwarven family and put them out into quests and everything. Just his problem is that he feels like it's not as sandbox-ish as I make it sound.
Yes.
Because of the worker placement aspect, and yes, that's why I say it's sandbox-ish, because there is worker placement. You can get stopped out of something that you wanted to do, but there's still usually plenty of other options that you could do that are still good for you.
Right, but is that a sandbox?
Sandbox-ish.
But, so yeah, you originally always used to really champion this game as being a sandbox Euro game. And, I mean, you said I could be a farmer, and then by the time it got to my turn, all the good farming spaces were taken by other workers. So could I be a farmer?
Yes.
No!
Take that first player token.
Yeah, that's all I gotta do now.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Euro game.
Exactly. It's a Euro game.
It's a Euro game through and through.
Yes.
And I think that it is the most sandbox-ish Euro game on the market.
Maybe.
That's a fact from Matthew Melissa McCann.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure, but yeah, I don't know. I would play the game again, but I actually I have fairly little interest in playing that game again.
Well, maybe just shift your perspective. It's not a sandbox. Just play it as though it's a worker placement.
Yeah, Uwe also has. Patrick's pretty good.
Uwe is fantastic. I don't get you.
It's just not really my style.
I don't get you. I really don't.
I'd like to play Feast for Odin again as well.
Yeah, you really need to, because now if you want to talk about sandbox.
Oh, Feast for Odin's the pinnacle of sandbox in
Probably.
Yeah.
Of Euro games.
I thought you just said Caverna.
Yeah, I feel it more in Caverna. Anyway,
hey.
That was our top 51
yes.
games of all time. Thank you so much for sticking through all this way if you have. Or maybe you just skipped everything and came to top this one. 10. But thank you for watching this episode
yes.
then. Anyway, this has been Room 51. We'll catch you next time.
Take care.